Hello and welcome to Success is Never Accidental, the show where we get to explore all the factors that contribute to success, and we get to interview and learn from some highly successful people. My guest today is a global entrepreneur who does business across a range of sectors in more than 55 different countries. He's also an accomplished speaker and has audiences across the globe. And the author of a book called Millionaire Underdog, which contains hundreds of tips for people who want to grow and develop their businesses. But he wasn't always that successful. My guest came from Canada to the United States of America at age 22 with only $1,000 in his pocket and a pickup truck. And it was through his sheer determination, work ethic, persistence, willingness to learn from more successful people, implementing strategies and evaluating what worked and what didn't work, and networking with amazing people. And that's one of the things that actually makes him stand out today, has the most amazing network. So help me welcome Mr. JT Foxx. Hello, JT, and thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to hearing some of your insights into success. So Jim Rohn says, success is not what you achieve. Success is who you become. What's your definition of success?
Mine has always been, am I a better person today than I was yesterday? Will I be a better person tomorrow than I was today, right? So it's the constant improvement. You know, when I start speaking in Ireland, and I happened to meet you and your husband in New Jersey, of all places, but you know, everyone said the mentality in Ireland is very negative, very skeptical. Everything is a scam. And then you go down there and you have this preconceived notion. And you realize that it's the same thing in Australia, as you know, you and I have met there in Perth. You do business there, is that there's tall poppy syndrome. And when someone tells you you can't do it, it just means that they can't. And a lot of it, the hatred and the jealousy is either indoctrinated by their parents, right? And how they grew up, or is a fear of success, or a fear that if you do better than what you do. And so I always embrace, you have to put it in a position, you know, here I'm Canadian American and I'm going to Ireland and I did very well. Get to you doing very well as well. And sometimes you have to do what other people are not doing. And that's what success is, right? Am I a better person today than I will be tomorrow? And so success is not defined by how much money you make, it's by the progress. And most people are born at 18 and die at 21.
I think that's really interesting because many of the people that I coach and work with are actually in the public sector, and they're contributing every day to both mental health services, child protection services, and they don't have the chance to be entrepreneurial. So that concept of what can I do to make a bigger contribution? What can I do to be better?
I disagree because they're entrepreneurs, right? They can treat their organization as it's a small business, which means they'll have a greater impact. They could get promoted, they can make more money. Or they can make their life much more valuable. It's not just about being an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur. I mean, my CEO started as the lowest paid person, and now she's partners in all the companies, right? So, and everything I do. So from 28,000 to making millions and millions of dollars, right? But it's by adding value, you know, and how you value an organization is bringing ideas, helping when it's needed, not saying this is not my job, this is not my department, not thinking inside the box, not thinking outside the box, throwing the box out the window, giving respect and credibility to your superiors, whether you agree or not, it doesn't matter. They're your superiors, and be there to help them because one day it'll be your point. But when people kind of create this adversarial position with their superiors, it never ends very well. And you may be right, right? But there's a food chain, just like in the military, just like in business, just like in success, just like in the corporate world. So people that are listening to this, you know, at the core, as you like to describe, is who they are, what they want to be, and how they want to succeed. And if you have a good core, right, and you're a good person, your life will be much better. And I think you'll have a lot more meaning to your job if you do that. And I think that's how they have to take a look at it. Not, this is my job, this is my position, is only going to do. It's like, okay, how can I just be the best that I can be at what I do? And whether you're an entrepreneur or a job, it's the same thing.
And most of the people I'm working with are in leadership positions. So it's so important that they role model that kind of behavior. And the core leadership program really emphasizes the importance of being an effective communicator. And you're right, because if you want to try and change things in an organization, you don't do it by ranting, you do it by trying to communicate effectively and influence higher management. And also it's about optimizing. The O in core stands for optimizing absolutely everything we do. And the biggest part of that, as you have proved on numerous occasions, is your mindset. Optimize your approach to things and the way you look at them. But I suppose more than anything, JT, you put a lot of your success down to your relationships. You want to say something about the importance of having relationships with like-minded people and people that we can learn from?
Well, I think in the end of the day, it's all about adding value, right? Just like at this podcast, I get asked all the time, thousands of times, and I turn it down. And 99.9% of the people I say no, and I said yes to you. And whether there was one person listening or 15,000 people listening or 15 million people listening, I'd still be here because of the relationship and the value that you have brought to me, and the value you bring to so many people. There's a reason why you're very successful. And there's a reason why companies want you to be in a position of leadership to help out, because you yourself are a product of the fundamental. There isn't anything that you are not telling the leaders of these of the people that you work with that you are not doing yourself, that you're not getting coached, you are not betting yourself as a leader. And at the end of the day, we all have to learn something. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over, it's expect a different result. But relationship comes from adding value. And I think too many people are saying, well, what can I take? You know, and you always ask me all the time, like, what can I do for you? I'm like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But you know, a lot of times you don't ask, you find out what's most important to the people, and then you add value to that, right? And you show the initiative. You know, I ask you to read a book that a billionaire wrote of a founder of a big restaurant chain, right? And you did, and then you know, I sent it over to him, and he was like, "Wow, this is fantastic! I can't wait to meet them to talk more about that as well." So, you know, that's value, right? And the billionaire doesn't have to reciprocate back, right? But if you do it enough times, some people are like, okay, what can I do for you? And if they don't, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, you're in an environment that you never would. So I think giving with the expectation of return is the wrong way of looking at things.
I totally agree. I think adding value first, and then, you know, when you need help, checking in with that person. But the E in core stands for evaluation. And I think what's really concerning is that people do the same thing over and over again, even though it's not working. And for me, a big part of success is about figuring out what's working and doing more of it, and figuring out what's not working and stop doing it. So in your career, your incredible career, to the global entrepreneur that you are now, an international speaker that we talked about in the introduction, if there was one thing that you would do differently looking backwards, what would that be?
Nothing. There's nothing I would do differently, because obviously I wouldn't be where I am if I was. And so I don't look at what I could do differently. I do how can I prove myself better moving forward. You know, being more focused, being more vertical in my thinking, going deeper into issues, into marketing, branding, relationships, into people. You know, you and I had a call earlier today, and you were surprised with my answer. Well, it's the same advice that my coach gave me, which ironically is the one who betrayed me. So, but his advice, even though he betrayed me, he didn't practice what he preaches. But what he said to me was very good advice. And I think that's a level of maturity. I think at the end of the day, it's us versus us. And often we want to compete against the world. We're not competing against the world. We're competing against us. I think a lot of life has to do with like golf, right? I mean, it's you and yeah, there are elements and wind and weather and all that. But at the end of the day, it's you, right? And how much preparation, how much dedication, how much love you put into this as well, and how much you care. And you know, I know some employees or people in public positions, and the reason people are in public positions is because they want to make a difference, right? If it was all about the money, they would have, you know, maybe started a business. And a lot of people in the public sector, they don't care. It's just a job, and they go through the motion until they get their pension, and then they retire. And then there's other people that you work with that truly say, you know what, how do I make I got one shot at this. How do I make that bigger impact? So that's all I have to say about that.
And you and I both met an incredible public servant recently, the mayor of Athens, who just completely embodied all those things that we've just talked about. He was a great role model. He was committed to adding value and really, truly successful in the whole arena of public service because he came at it with such integrity and commitment. JT, thank you so much for spending time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Only for you. Always a pleasure. Bye-bye.
So that was the incredible JT Foxx, someone I'm very happy to call my friend and mentor. And, you know, he's such a big personality on social media and on international stages. And I think today we were really blessed to see something about the real person and to get to the core of JT Foxx, who is so committed to helping other people do well and succeed. But as you heard, coming from that place of what can I do today to be even better than I was yesterday? And how can I add even more value? And that's really what success is all about. As the legendary Jim Rohn says, success is not about what you achieve. Success is about who you become. And the core leadership program is about helping you to become more successful in what I consider to be the key elements of effective leadership and successful leaders. Core, how do you improve your communication skills so that you're a better influencer? How do you resolve problems and issues by being able to listen to understand what is truly going on? The O stands for optimization. How do we optimize our mindset, our energy, and all the other resources at our disposal? The R, as we heard earlier, stands for relationships. Fundamental to getting anything done successfully is usually working with a team of other people. It's about knowing who to ask for help and support. It's knowing how to connect with the people who have got the skills, the knowledge, the ability, perhaps the decision-making power to get the job done. And the E's for evaluating. Understanding what's working and doing more of it, understanding what's not working and stop doing it. So success is a formula and it's about strategies. So I leave you with this thought. If success is never accidental, what's your strategy to be successful?